It is farm country, horse country, bucolic, upwardly mobile, wealthy type of community, affluent. It's a quiet place.
Tiny, unassuming house. Just a simple farmhouse.
Colts Neck has a lot of these.
Yes.
This beautiful little farmhouse with this beautiful farm star, you know, in the middle of it.
In July of 2013, I was an assistant prosecutor in Monmouth County, New Jersey. Donna Ongsiako was alone. She had just gone to bed for the evening.
An intruder came into her house and attacked her, stabbing her repeatedly.
911, where's emergency?
Oh, my name is Donna Ongsiako. I just got stabbed.
Where are you?
Really bad. A kid just came in and stabbed me.
Okay,
I think he hit my heart. I'm pouring, gushing blood.
Okay.
I'm losing consciousness.
Keep your eyes open. Donna? Donna?
I was driving home. It was maybe like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30. As I pulled up closer, I saw big SUVs, cop cars, lights flashing everywhere. I was like, where is my mom? And they were like, well, she has been attacked and she's on her way to the hospital. They couldn't tell me whether she was alive or if she wasn't.
I was new into major crimes. I didn't have the experience that some of the older detectives, so I had never seen that much blood before.
Why would somebody do this? Who did this? What did she ever do to anybody, you know?
On that night, in the early morning hours, we got a 911 call from a worker from this restaurant.
About how far from Donna's house are we standing right here?
This is about an 8-minute drive.
They called because they saw a subject walking through their drive-through.
Average Detention Police.
One of my customers were in drive-thru were approached by a man with no shirt but had a knife in his hand.
Knocking on windows, carrying a knife. One of the witnesses who saw the young man, she agreed to come in and give us a sketch.
Everybody was asking about the police sketch. It was in every store. People were frightened.
Can you tell me about the tip?
I get a call. The woman on the other end says that she's calling about the stabbing in Colts Neck. She said, I think my cousin may have something to do with that.
Tiny Colts Neck, New Jersey sits just 50 miles from New York City. But it might as well be a world away. So in July 2013, this quiet community was rocked by news of a violent home invasion where the victim was stabbed repeatedly. The only thing more shocking?
My name is Donna Ongsiako.
The victim survived.
I lost, in total, close to 3/4 of the blood in my body. There's no earthly reason why I'm alive. None.
If I had asked you at the time to give me a list of 100 things you're worried about, where would a home invasion been?
Oh, no, never.
Donna worked for a company that brokered fuel for ships on the nearby Jersey Shore. She and her daughter Kirsten lived in this farmhouse on the edge of flower fields.
She was 20 when she had me, so we're only 20 years and 1 day apart.
Friend Sharon Sharp hired Donna decades ago.
Kirsten had just been born?
Yeah, Kirsten was a baby. I thought she was really brave, being a single mom, very young.
I was by her side all the time.
Kirsten, who now works as a welder, recalls what life was like just prior to her mother's attack.
We were going to the gym multiple times a week. Not only was she like mentally strong, but she was physically strong.
She was so fit. She did Tough Mudders with Kirsten.
I like that competition. I like to show strength, physical strength. Things couldn't have been any better at that time.
That's when Saturday of July 4th weekend rolled around. Monmouth County Detective Andrea Tazi says they were having a heat wave.
It was humid, but we had no rain or anything like that. I mean, it was a dry night.
So Donna
Had her windows open, yes. She had her windows open just to obviously to circulate air.
Kirsten was out at a party. So I was home doing laundry. I'd say about 11:30. I decide I'm gonna get ready for bed. I let the cat out. I went, brushed my teeth.
But just as she was drifting off to sleep,
I heard what I thought was the cat. I heard something, and I remembered, oh, I forgot to let the cat in.
without turning on any lights, Donna headed downstairs to open the front door for her cat.
But instead, when I opened the door, I saw someone standing there. In the split second after seeing this person on my porch, I saw the knife. He was trying to cut into the screen of the window that was right next to the front door.
She says she didn't recognize the young white male standing right in front of her, holding a large knife.
I tried to slam and shut the door. My fingers were protruding out. He stuck the knife through the opening and cut my finger, so that I immediately let go of the door, and then he pushed his way in. I'm backing into my kitchen. We're face to face. It didn't register to me that he was actually going to stab me.
But without a word, that's exactly what the stranger did.
He slashed my cheek, and you can see that here, and actually it starts back here. There was no way to process that that happened.
Donna's attacker came at her with the knife again.
He then slashed 3 times on this side of my neck.
She tried grabbing the knife, but only cut her own hand in the process.
Did you feel like you were dealing with somebody who was really strong?
No, but I felt like he was very sure. Like he was very in control of himself.
Donna was starting to weaken from the injuries.
I felt like my legs were gonna give out. So I braced myself against the corner of my bathroom right next to the front door.
Sure enough, she slid down to the floor.
I was in fetal position and I'm bleeding. And he came over and it was kind of like he was playing, you know, with the knife and just started jabbing at me. So that's when he caught me here. And he got me in the back of my neck here.
Finally, Donna's attacker spoke to her.
This was when he decided to ask me for my car keys and if I had a lighter.
A lighter?
Mm-hmm. I just answered him. There's a lighter in my purse, and my purse was on the table back in the kitchen. So he went over and was rummaging through my purse and got the keys, got the lighter.
Donna's assailant ended up taking her entire purse with him, but not before returning one last time to Donna, still bleeding on the floor.
He said, "You dead bitch," and plunged the knife into my chest.
Once he plunges the knife in and then removes it, what does he do then?
He just walked out the door.
With no neighbors in earshot, Donna knew she must get help, somehow.
Your phone isn't in reach.
No, my phone was upstairs in my bedroom, charging.
Donna had no landline in the house, but even as the blood was draining rapidly from her body, she had one pressing concern above her own survival.
Kirsten could come home and find me. I just didn't want her to have to experience any level of the horror that I had just gone through, or any other levels in finding me there, dead.
So this is a mother's instinct as pure as it gets.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
You know you have to get upstairs if you're going to be able to make a call for help.
Right.
How do you get up those stairs?
So that I don't know. There was divine intervention that helped me up those stairs. No doubt. No doubt in my mind.
A mother disappears. Evidence points to homicide. The suspect is gone too, leading U.S. Marshals on a relentless manhunt. The chase is on.
Justice is coming.
48 Hours, tonight on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Being an FBI agent is not just a job.
The city's under attack.
It's a life.
We're hunting a serial killer.
The life we chose. People are in danger.
It not only works if we're doing it together.
Teamwork.
Cover me. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, my whole team winning. Every member clutch, watch the whole team glisten. Yeah, my whole team winning. Ain't no way to stop us when we be out on a mission.
The FBI's new episodes Tuesday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
We know how his story ended. Now see how it all began. NCIS Origins, coming CBS Fall.
She's a tiny little woman. You have to imagine that many stab wounds. And she just willed it. She was not going to die there.
Former Monmouth County Assistant Prosecutor Lori Gerhardt says Donna Ongsiako was determined her daughter Kirsten would not come home to find her dead. She knew she had to get to her cell phone upstairs.
I don't remember my feet or my hands actually touching the stairs. The energy that it took for me to get up off the ground and up those stairs, I was definitely guided.
The amount of strength that goes into that is just unimaginable.
But the motivation was you.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe I was there, guiding her in spirit.
Once Donna made it upstairs, she faced a new challenge after peering out her bedroom window.
She had a car sitting right here?
Right, she had a car sitting right in this area.
I could still see the car was there, and I could see the car was on and he was in it. If I take my phone off the charger, it's gonna light up. He's gonna see the light.
Afraid her attacker would come back for her, Donna did her best to hide the light of the phone. Then, just getting it to work became the next hurdle.
My hands are covered in blood, my touch screen. I was trying to swipe and swipe, so I ended up having to wipe my hands off, wipe the phone off, wipe it down on the bed, and then I was able to do the touch screen and get through to 911.
My name is Donna Ongsiako. I just got stabbed really bad. Some kid just came in and stabbed me, and he stole my car.
Okay. Just stand up on me, okay? Where did you get stabbed?
In the neck, blood is gushing out, and in the chest.
Detective Andrea Tazzi says Donna's ability to place that call despite her injuries was amazing. But then Donna did something even more extraordinary. She gave a detailed description of her attacker.
Okay, do you know what he looked like?
Yeah, he was probably about 17. White, real skinny, curly hair. Blonde, dirty blonde hair. Backpack.
It was pretty chilling to listen to Donna and be able to hear her accurately talk about this is what happened, this is what he looks like,
I'm losing consciousness.
and then hear her fade out.
Donna? Donna? Hello, Donna? Donna?
Yes, ma'am. I think I just sat down for a minute.
Police and paramedics arrived less than 8 minutes after Donna dialed 911, but her attacker had already fled. Donna was rushed to Jersey Shore University Medical Center and into trauma surgery. It would be a few more hours before Kirsten arrived home from her party to a house surrounded by flashing lights.
I saw the caution tape and that her car was gone.
Police told Kirsten what happened to her mother.
You were deeply shaken.
Oh yeah, I remember at one point my knees buckled. They had the SUV, the undercover cop car, the trunk was open. So I was like, can I sit here? Because I feel like I'm gonna pass out.
As Kirsten was processing the news, an all-out manhunt had already begun for Donna's assailant. Detective Tazi says another 911 call had come in shortly before Donna's attack.
I was going to pick up my daughter, and there was a kid hitchhiking.
From a driver who saw someone walking along the road near Donna's house.
They saw a young man with a backpack and khaki pants. He was walking close to the fog line and kind of stepping into traffic, and she felt that he was kind of a hitchhiker.
He was on the northbound side, walking southbound, and I'm afraid he's going to get hit by a car. How old about? I'm going to say like 18, 19, 20, something like that.
She was concerned because she just thought that maybe he needed help in some way.
And was a car dispatched?
Yes, yes. They didn't find him, though.
Still, the Good Samaritan driver had inadvertently given the investigation its first lead.
I felt that the hitchhiker was my person. It was too coincidental for that time of the night in that area for somebody to be walking, and then 15 minutes later, Donna's calling say that she was stabbed.
And there was about to be another tip, not long after Donna's 911 call, from a fast food restaurant 5 miles from her house.
They saw a subject walking through their drive-through, knocking on windows, carrying a knife, and it looked like it had blood on it.
Employees from the Taco Bell quickly called police.
You have any description of him? Yeah, he was wearing, like those army pants, and he had no shirt. He was white with like really like bushy hair, but it was like long, like the skater type hair. How old was he? I don't know. He looked like he was like 18.
Police rushed to the Taco Bell and started canvassing the nearby shopping center. They didn't find their suspect, but they did find something else.
So there had been a bolo put out on Donna's vehicle.
Be on the lookout.
Right. And in the process of looking for this person here, they found the car.
Donna's stolen car, this BMW, had been ditched behind a movie theater.
It was lights on and it was running. So it clearly was an abandoned vehicle.
Tazi says the car would become crucial.
There was blood all over it. And so we were hoping that we would get some kind of DNA evidence of our suspect.
Did you?
We did.
Sharon Sharp will never forget the dread she felt when she arrived at the hospital to see her friend Donna Ongsiako, only to be told she wasn't there.
I'm picturing the color draining from your face and the air leaving your lungs like...
Totally. No, this cannot be. There's no way. She has to be here.
Did you think maybe she had died?
Yes.
It turned out, with her attacker still on the loose, the hospital had admitted Donna under an alias to protect her. Sharon was allowed to see Donna the next day.
An intensive care room I've never seen before. It looked like an enlarged, massively enlarged cockpit wall, because there were tons of machines behind her, and she looked almost like a puppet.
Surgery was 7 hours, I believe.
Despite losing 3/4 of the blood in her body, trauma surgeons had saved Donna's life, but at a tremendous cost. You may find the pictures you're about to see disturbing.
I pretty much looked like a living cadaver. I had 37 stitches on my face and neck, 38 staples in my chest, 7 stitches in my hand, and now internally my sternum is wired shut.
And as for that final stab to Donna's chest just before her assailant left,
It missed my heart by the edge of a dime, is what I remember them telling me.
the edge of a dime.
When she talks about the margin that the knife missed her heart by,
Yeah, if she was any slouched over any more, that would have been it.
Kirsten says as soon as her mother was able to talk, she had one simple request.
I remember her saying, "All I smell is this blood in my hair. Can somebody please wash my hair?"
Sharon says they got permission, and then she and 2 of Donna's family members did their best to wash Donna's hair as she lay in her hospital bed.
We were determined to see if we can make her smile. So we turned it into a ridiculous idiot session with 3 of us, like a factory line. We laughed through our tears, and anytime anybody would get too serious, we would make it funny.
But her hair was far from Donna's biggest concern. She was sure her attacker would find her and finish the job.
She was convinced that he was in the hospital, and we kept telling her, no, you're here under an alias.
I survived. I stood face to face with him. I could 100% positively identify him. He's coming back for me.
Detective Tazi says they were pretty sure the young man knocking on windows at the Taco Bell drive-thru shortly after Donna's attack was their suspect. Within 2 days, a customer who saw him met with a police sketch artist.
And was able to provide pretty great details on the person she saw that night.
Investigators then took the sketch to the hospital.
what did Donna say when she saw that sketch?
She said, yeah, it was incredibly accurate. She tweaked it a little bit. She said that, yes, that looks like the person who stabbed me.
His curly blonde hair, he was like a surfer kid or a skateboarder or something like that.
Former Assistant Prosecutor Lori Gerhardt says the sketch of the suspect was soon plastered all over Monmouth County and on law enforcement social media.
So people are obviously talking and trying to figure out, do we know him? Where is he from? Who is this kid? And it's scary because you like to have a sense of security in your community.
Investigators reviewed the cameras of stores in the shopping center near the Taco Bell to see if they'd get lucky and spot their suspect, hoping the more images they had, the more likely the chance of identifying him.
We were trying to go back and look at video from various businesses to see the description and really to put out the bolo, like this is who we're looking for.
Security cameras had captured the suspect once again.
The surveillance we got from the store over there was from the inside the store, but it was pointing outwards.
I see. And it definitely caught him.
Oh, yeah, you could see him walking.
Wow.
As police kept looking for the suspect, Donna was turning a corner, at least physically. Amazingly, after just 4 days, Donna Ongsiako was released from the hospital. Sharon says that was all due to the training Donna had done prior to the attack.
Clearly, she's very physically fit. She couldn't have survived this if she wasn't.
It's an amazing thing. You were out in 4 days. But as you leave the hospital, you are also walking back into a world where whoever did this to you is still out there.
Right. But also, I wasn't going back to the farm. I wasn't going back to my house. No, there was no way.
In fact, Donna would never step foot in her house again. She and Kirsten moved in with family living in New Jersey. Then, just 8 days after the attack, not long after the police sketch began circulating, Detective Tazi's phone rang.
I take the call, and the woman on the other end says that she's calling about the stabbing in Colts Neck. I said, okay. I said, how can I help you? And she said, I think my cousin, Brennan Doyle, may have something to do with that.
It was the first time Tazi had heard the name Brennan Doyle. He was just 16 years old. His cousin told Tazi word was going around her family that Brennan was involved in the Colts Neck stabbing. The cousin had seen Brennan just days prior to Donna's attack.
Between July 3rd and 6th, because he was up in Connecticut for her wedding with his family.
He had attended her wedding.
He attended her wedding, and she was able to provide us a picture of what he looked like during the time he was up there for the wedding.
The photo she sends is Brennan with long curly hair wearing camouflage shorts, looking very much like the kid in the sketch, and more importantly on the videotapes.
Brennan's resemblance to the sketch all around town was about to become even more important because of what the cousin told Detective Tazi happened a few days later.
She was staying at Brennan's family's lake house in New Hampshire as a wedding gift. And Brennan, his brother, and the mother showed up there unexpected.
Hang on. This woman is in Lake Winnipesaukee. She's on her honeymoon?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, there's Brennan, Brennan's mother, Brennan's brother, crashing her honeymoon?
Yes, and the dog.
But what was even more surprising was Brennan's appearance.
Brennan's hair was cut.
The next time she sees him, he's cut his hair.
Yes.
So that's a big red flag.
Yes.
Brennan Doyle's cousin told investigators that Brennan showed up just days after Donna's attack, hundreds of miles from home, with his hair suddenly cut short, similar to this. Like Donna, the Doyle family resided in Colts Neck. Former assistant prosecutor Lori Gerhardt.
We lived in a very nice house, 2 sons, a mom and a dad. The life of a typical Colts Neck teenager, it's a life of wealth, it's a life of privilege.
Doyle was a student athlete on wrestling and hockey teams. Detective Tazi started digging into his background.
He had never been arrested. There was never any charges filed against him prior to our investigation.
According to the prosecutor's records, police had been called to the Doyle house for what they referred to as family conflicts. The location of the home would turn out to be very important.
Where did Brennan live?
So if you make a right up here and you go up maybe a quarter of a mile on the left.
So that's close.
Yeah.
The teen and his family lived within walking distance of Donna's house, up the very road that driver had reported seeing someone she described as a young hitchhiker just prior to Donna's attack.
I'm afraid he's going to get hit by a car.
When does the Doyle family return to Colts Neck?
Later in July.
With Brennan and his family back in town, Tazi reached out to the family, saying investigators were canvassing the neighborhood.
What happened when you went to the house?
We spoke with Mrs. Doyle. She was nervous. Her voice was cracking, and
Did this raise an eyebrow for you?
it did. We asked if Brennan and his brother could come and look at the composite sketch, and if they had any idea who that person might be on the sketch.
Did Brennan come out?
He did.
Tazi says she wanted to see Brennan's hair to confirm what his cousin had told her, that it had been cut much shorter. It seemed the teen tried to stay a step ahead when he came out to greet the detective.
He was wearing a hat. He was wearing a baseball hat.
I think wearing a baseball cap was a calculated move.
It might have been, but it didn't work.
You could tell his hair was cut short.
Next, Tazi showed Brennan the police sketch of the suspect, the same one Donna helped tweak to look just like her attacker.
How did he react?
He looked away. He looked at it, looked away, and said, I don't know. I don't know. He was nervous and he was scared, and he got very quiet.
There is a reaction. Eyes are down, no eye contact, people are nervous. Mom starts redirecting the conversation.
Doyle's family and his attorney denied our request for an interview, We asked CBS News consultant, defense attorney Matt Troiano, to study the case file.
And I think that probably confirms what they believed going in.
Brennan's odd behavior and resemblance to the sketch and video evidence may have been striking, but with nothing else to go on yet, Tazi thanked the Doyles for their time and left.
Did you know that was your guy?
I was pretty confident that we were on the right track with him. But we also have a duty. We had other leads that were coming in, so we were doing a lot of follow-ups.
As investigators worked the case, Donna was struggling. Weeks after the attack, the reality of what had happened to her had taken hold.
I lost everything that night. I lost my home, had nowhere to go. I lost my car. They took it into evidence.
Donna, you lost more than half your blood.
Exactly. I lost a lot.
Donna says that's when, in addition to her physical recovery, she faced a new challenge.
Symptoms of PTSD started to show up. I'm not eating, I'm not sleeping, I don't care about anything. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm, every emotion under the sun at any minute. I felt like I was going crazy. I was always thinking, I don't know who this kid is, but he climbed through the window in that second that I fell asleep, and now he's hiding in the closet, kind of crazy thoughts.
Sharon Sharp says Donna's fear meant even friendly visits required a new protocol, including announcing her arrival every step of the way so as not to trigger Donna.
I'm gonna come around the hedges now, and I'm gonna enter the backyard. I'm gonna be touching the gate in 3, 2, 1. I would shake my keys first, which had bells on them, say, "It's me, Sharon, I'm coming."
The investigation lasted through the summer of 2013. Brennan Doyle remained the only likely suspect. Detective Tazi says investigators took the next step in September.
We got a warrant to obtain his DNA, his fingerprints, photographs of him, just things that are personal to him.
When the results came back,
there's a fingerprint match, then ultimately there's a DNA match.
Brennan Doyle's DNA was a spot-on match to unknown DNA found in Donna's car in a number of places.
11 different DNA samples and pieces of evidence found in that vehicle, and really, there's no reason why Brennan Doyle's DNA should be in this woman's vehicle. He's a stranger to her.
One more crucial piece of evidence was found in early October in the most unexpected spot.
Repairmen were servicing an air conditioning unit that was on the top of the strip mall. They found the knife on the roof right near the air conditioning unit.
A knife, looking weathered as though it had been there for months, found on a bowling alley roof in the very same shopping center where the Taco Bell was located and where Donna's car had been abandoned.
How important was the knife?
It ended up being very important because the knife was from a set. We determined that that knife matched another knife that we knew came from the Doyle household that had been taken months earlier.
Through a twist of timing and fate, the Colts Neck police already had another knife from the Doyle home, taken after police were called to the house a few weeks prior to Donna's attack, following an altercation between Brennan and his brother.
There's a knife that's apparently used by the younger brother in a threatening manner. Police are called, police take the knife, and the situation ends.
There was no charges or anything that came of it, but they secured the knife in their evidence vault. It was the same brand name, the same look. It was a silver knife.
It was from the same collection.
Correct. That was kind of the icing on the cake to get a search warrant. They had moved during the course of this investigation, so we got a search warrant for their new home.
The search of the new Doyle residence, also in Colts Neck, turned up the rest of the knife set matching the one found atop the shopping center. In late October 2013, Brennan Doyle was arrested.
What kinds of charges was he facing?
Serious ones: attempted murder, carjacking, weapons possession. These are the most serious of crimes that we have.
What do you make of the evidence against Brennan Doyle? Take a look at the complete investigation at 48hours.com.
Months after Donna's brush with death, her alleged attacker, Brennan Doyle, was in custody, facing 6 counts, including attempted murder and carjacking. He pleaded not guilty.
And you have to look at the seriousness of the offense.
The prosecution felt the crime warranted trying Doyle as an adult, even though he was 16 at the time.
And in juvenile court, Brennan is looking at 4 years maximum in a youth detention facility. In adult court, he's looking at up to 30 years.
A judge would rule in Assistant Prosecutor Gerhardt's favor, but there was a catch. Doyle would now be entitled to post bail, set at $760,000, which he did.
When you heard he was out, did all of the fear come rushing back?
It wasn't so much fear as it was anger that he was even allowed to be bailed out.
The thought of running into Doyle terrified Kirsten. She says he even haunted her dreams.
I didn't realize how much it was affecting me. I had no idea until I was like falling asleep and all I see is his face.
As prosecutors developed their case, the details of what happened that horrific night began to emerge.
What does Brennan Doyle say happened the night of July 6th, heading into the morning of July 7th, 2013?
Mushrooms. He says he was under the influence of hallucinogenic mushrooms.
According to investigative reports he examined, Matt Troiano says that on the night of Donna's attack, Doyle claimed he was losing touch with reality and had gotten into a fight with his father.
He has a knife in his hand, Dad kicks him out, and he kind of loses his mind, makes bad decisions.
Police thought it was likely that Doyle, who lived a short distance away, approached Donna's home looking to steal her car.
I don't know if his intent was to kill Donna. Certainly when he started stabbing her, that became his intent.
To me, what he's doing is he's getting rid of the witness.
Gerhardt believes Doyle did not act like someone incapacitated by drugs. Doyle drove 5 miles to that shopping center after leaving Donna's house.
This kid manages to ditch a knife. He abandons the car, and that's not a kid who's so high on mushrooms he doesn't know what he's doing.
Troiano says while a lot of the evidence against Brennan Doyle was strong, the knife, the security camera videos, one thing put this case over the top.
What is going to seal the fate of this boy, this kid, is that there's DNA in her vehicle that links to him. It's indefensible.
But as it turned out, there would be no need for a defense. In August of 2015, Brennan Doyle agreed to a plea deal. In return, the prosecution dropped all but the 2 most serious charges, carjacking and attempted murder.
It was very important for me that he admit his guilt. If he took the plea, he would have to confess his guilt to the court.
In October 2015, Brennan Doyle, now 18 years old, appeared in Monmouth County Superior Court for sentencing. Donna, who'd attended every court appearance, was there to face him one last time.
Even though I felt overpowered by fear, I wanted him to see me as strong and as a survivor.
It was an emotional day for Kirsten, there to support her mother.
When you would look at him in court, what do you remember feeling?
Anger. Just very angry. Sorry.
The drugs turned me into a monster that night.
Doyle was permitted to address the court.
I pray and hope her wounds will lessen and she will recover eventually. I am asking you to forgive me. Going to prison will be the hardest thing I will ever have to face in my life. I'm afraid.
Brennan Doyle was sentenced to 15 years in state prison. The law requires him to serve at least 85% of that time.
Justice has to be done on both sides, and we have to be sensitive to that. We have a 16-year-old kid who, for the most part, had absolutely no prior history. The court has a balancing act to do.
Did it feel like justice?
It did not.
What would have felt like justice to you?
More like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, if not longer.
Even with Doyle off the streets, Donna was still struggling. She had found PTSD and domestic violence support groups, but says there were none for victims of random attacks. So in 2015, she decided to create her own, Survivors of Violent Crimes.
The reason we took to the support group was to help each other cope.
Donna connected with fellow survivors, Tiffany Ott and Dana Richards. Together, they held meetings and felt gratified they could help when more survivors joined.
They're finding relief in knowing that they're not alone.
But Donna says her work isn't done. Her future plans include helping victims connect with trauma therapists and offering self-defense classes. As she grows her support group, she's also educating others. She travels to prisons, meeting with inmates, and addresses police cadets so they can understand the victim's point of view.
I got up. I made it up the stairs to my bedroom where my cell phone was, but I got through to 911.
She survives, and she's building a life. How could anyone not applaud that?
Donna says the physical scars that remain are a reminder of the surgeons who saved her life.
This is artwork. They're beautiful artwork. You could either get sucked into the darkness or you just keep going. I did what I had to do to be here today and go another day.
A mother disappears. Evidence points to homicide.
And she's nowhere to be found.
The suspect is gone too, leading U.S. Marshals on a relentless manhunt.
He was using the railways to move around, hopping trains.
The chase is on.
Justice is coming.
48 Hours, next on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Before we begin, just a trigger warning. The following episode does include mentions of graphic physical violence.
I survived a violent home invasion. After everything was said and done, I lost in total close to 3/4 of the blood in my body. There's no earthly reason why I'm alive. None. There is none.
As you heard, that is Donna Ongsiako, who miraculously survived a random attack in her Colts Neck, New Jersey home back in the early morning hours of July 7th, 2013. Donna lived with her 21-year-old daughter, but she was home alone that night. And after opening her front door to let her cat back in the house, Donna then encountered an intruder attempting to cut through the screen of the window by her front door. He proceeded to stab her multiple times on her face and in her chest before leaving with her purse and her car keys. As Donna lay on the floor bleeding, she somehow found the strength to crawl upstairs where her cell phone was, and she called 911 while her attacker then escaped in her car.
Okay. Just stand up on me, okay? Where did you get stabbed? In the neck, blood is gushing out, and in the chest. Okay,
I can feel my heart. I'm pouring, gushing blood.
Okay.
Then, before briefly losing consciousness, she was able to describe her attacker in great detail.
He was probably about 17, white, real skinny, curly hair, blonde, dirty blonde hair, a little bit long in a backpack. I'm losing consciousness.
Okay, so stay with me, okay?
Yeah, I could feel the blood is just it's like water.
After paramedics arrived, Donna then was rushed to the hospital, and as you heard her say, she lost close to 3/4 of the blood in her body. But thanks to Donna's detailed description of her attacker and additional tips and DNA evidence, police identified 16-year-old Brennan Doyle as a suspect. He was arrested nearly 4 months after stabbing Donna. And Doyle claimed he was under the influence at the time of magic mushrooms. In 2015, Doyle pleaded guilty to attempted murder and carjacking, and he was sentenced to 15 years in prison. And while Doyle is in prison, Donna is still struggling to recover from the trauma of her attack. I'm Natalie Morales of 48 Hours, and this is It Could Have Been Me. Welcome, Donna. It is so good to have you here with us, and thank you so much for being willing to share your story with us.
Thank you for having me.
I know what you went through was so traumatic, physically, emotionally. How are you doing today?
Physically, all of my injuries have healed. I have some, nerve damage, pins and needles in my left arm. But other than that, physically, I'm okay. Psychologically, I'm still working on that. I can go places by myself now, but do I like being in the dark, in the night, by myself? No, still it is difficult for me.
Your physical scars have healed so beautifully as well. You don't see them as much anymore, but as you said, the emotional trauma is still something that you live with, and I know that has to be so difficult to go through, as you said, the nighttime and the darkness, because that's when the attack happened. You've moved out of that house, though, and I know that area of New Jersey. I lived in New Jersey for many, many years. It's a beautiful, peaceful area, horse country. Something like this, though, you never expect something like this to happen in Colts Neck, New Jersey, right?
No, never. I felt very safe there. Never in my wildest nightmares would I would think this would happen there.
Take me back to that night. Your daughter, Kirsten, she was out at a party. You nodded off, but then you went to open the door to let your cat back in. What happened then?
Right. So when I opened the door, I saw a kid standing on the porch. That's what I zoned in on. And then like a millisecond later, I saw the knife that he had, and he was cutting into the screen and the window. And my response kicked into, oh, I got to shut this door, So as I was shutting the door, he charged at the door, and the knife, it stuck through just a tiny little opening before I could actually shut the door. And it cut my finger, the tip of my finger. And I pulled my hand off the door. That was the most painful moment, was that knife cutting the tip of my finger.
Oof.
Because my body hadn't shut down yet. At that point, it was just sliced into my hand. So when I pulled my hand off the door, he pushed the door in and was face to face with me in my kitchen. I could not think far enough ahead to say he's going to cut me with that knife. But sure enough, he was standing just straight in front of me, and he just started slashing me. My face, you could see this part here, but it actually goes all the way back here. So he just took the knife and, slashed that way. And I could not process again that he would actually cut me. So I'm holding my face like this, and he's slashing my neck. And then so now I'm like, oh, like what's happening? And he stabbed me straight into my chest. And still, even with the slashes and the stabs, I couldn't process that he was actually, like, another stab was going to come, another slash was going to come. Like, I couldn't process that.
Gosh, it is unreal hearing you describe all of this, and it's still so clear as day to you in your memory. I can see that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm sure that's so hard to relive that moment, the pain you were feeling in that moment. And as I understand, this is a young man that you'd never seen him before. It's not somebody you recognized, right?
Right. No, totally random.
You saw, though, he seemed to be young. You got a good feel for what he looked like. I mean, you were staring at him as he's doing this to you. You wouldn't take your eyes off him.
Absolutely. Correct. Yep. Without a doubt.
So he's attacking you multiple times. He stabbed you at this point. In that time, what's going through your head? Are your survival instincts kicking in?
Yes, I started to think, I have to get that knife. Like, I have to get it out of his hands. So as I was backing away from him, I tried to grab the knife from him. You don't think, in my head, I'm going to grab that knife and I'm going to get it away from him. But it literally just cut my hand open. I ended up on the floor, and he came over to me on the floor. He asked me for my car keys and for a lighter. So I directed him to my purse, and he went through my purse and got what he needed.
And I know that you were wanting to figure out, get to your cell phone, right? That was part of the whole thinking at that moment.
Yeah, my cell phone was upstairs.
Once he left with the car keys, the lighter, that was your opportunity. You had to get upstairs. How'd you do that? I mean, in the condition you were in.
I have no idea. I always say that there was definitely divine intervention that helped me get up the stairs. And I feel like I floated up those stairs and to my phone.
Almost like an out-of-body experience, really.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know part of your motivation was your daughter. She was out, but you knew she would come back. You knew she would find you.
I could just imagine Kirsten coming in, walking in through that door and finding me laying there. And that couldn't happen. That just wasn't something I was prepared to let happen.
You got to your phone, yet incredibly, you were still with it enough to look outside and notice that your attacker was still there in the car. So you had to be really careful once you got your phone, right? What did you do?
Yes, I picked up my phone and it was still on the attached to the cord. And I knew that if I unplugged the cord from it, it was going to light up and he would see like that light in the dark. And I was so terrified that he was going to see that and he was going to come back in. And so I kind of just, slunk down to the floor with it and tried to be as careful as I could. And it was hard just trying to swipe on the phone just to unlock it because I had so much blood on my hands. Finally, I just wiped it off on the side of the bed and was able to dial 911.
Do you remember that call at all now?
I remember feeling so panicked, just desperate and trying to get all of the right information out, all the right words out. After the criminal trial was done, I went back to the prosecutor's office and I asked him if I could hear my 911 call because I wanted to make sure, did I actually speak clearly? Did I actually give them all this information like they said I did? And that was really empowering for me to go back years later and hear that recording.
You give me goosebumps, just imagining you hearing that for the first time after having gone through what you went through. You made it out of that house, incredible. And then you had to undergo 7 hours of surgery. When you were in the hospital, is it true that you were worried that your attacker might come back for you?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. In every scary movie that you see or every, type of slasher movie like that, you see the killer comes back dressed as a doctor, dressed as a nurse, or they slip in and, as an orderly or something like that. But I kept telling him, is there a guard out, asking them, is there a guard outside my door? And they kept trying to assure me that it was a secure floor. I was under an alias. Nobody was getting on this floor into my room unless they knew my alias. Yeah, absolutely terrified.
Your alias was Sarah Reese.
Yeah, it was shocking actually to see that on my wristband.
I know you described feeling like you almost lost your identity because the attack, it's like it took so much away from you.
I completely do not identify with who I was pre-attack. I feel like there is not a stitch of me left from, before the attack.
You're a different person now.
Totally different person, and I'm still trying to figure out who that is.
It's obviously a work in progress, but you're so strong, and you're such a survivor. I know your friend Sharon Sharp was really important to helping you go through your recovery. She described seeing you in the hospital. There's those very first few days and the stab wounds, and how much blood even was in your hair at that moment. And she talked about that. Let's take a listen here.
Her beautiful long hair was just caked. I mean, caked. It was almost like a thing you could pick up in blood. And all she'd say was, "I want my hair washed. I want my hair washed." Everybody could smell it. You couldn't not smell it. It was horrible. It was horrible.
And I love that in that moment, your friends saw what you needed and they took action. They washed your hair. They tried to be strong for you when you needed that.
The washing of the blood out of my hair, that for me was it was almost ceremonial. That was a lingering ick factor for me, was that smell of blood. I just couldn't shake it.
Well, it was just 4 days later that you were able to leave the hospital. And I mean, I think you had something like 37 stitches, am I right? And 38 staples throughout your body.
Yeah. I think they would have kept me there longer, but every day I was like, I'm ready to go. I have to leave. I did not feel safe there at all.
And of course, you didn't feel safe going back to the house, so you didn't go back there. Where did you end up going?
Yeah, so I ended up going back to my parents' house. So it was my mother and my father, and a brother that lived there, and my sister lived there at the time with her 3 children. So there was no room at the inn for me. So they ended up just kind of putting me in my niece's room. It was chaos.
Well, and I know you were concerned because your attacker was still out there, and it would take 4 months before 16-year-old Brennan Doyle was then arrested. And, your attacker, we said he was young. What was your reaction, though, when you heard? I mean, he was just 16 years old.
I mean, I stood face to face with him, so I saw him, and I knew he was young. I didn't realize he was that young. And kind of shocked because I was in really good shape physically, and if you said a 16-year-old was going to, force their way into your house and attack you, I would have said absolutely not. That is not going to happen. I was in the best shape of my life. There was no way that was going to happen. But fight, flight, or freeze, and I froze.
Yeah. He was then charged as an adult. When you heard what Brennan Doyle was alleging, he said it was magic mushrooms that possessed him to do what he did to you. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I thought that was just a cop-out. He seemed very present and very sure of what he was doing. So I don't buy the whole hallucinogenic story.
Did you see him in court?
Yes. I went to every single court appearance. There were throughout the 2 years between the attack and then the actual trial in 2015. I went to every single appearance, even if it was just like a 10-minute, like, this is what's happening thing, because I wanted him to see me. I wanted him to know that I was alive and I was showing up,
And he pleaded guilty to attempted murder and carjacking. That was in 2015, then sentenced to 15 years in prison. What was your reaction when you heard that sentence?
If we were to go to trial, I was told that he can maintain his innocence and there would be no guarantee of him, of the amount of time that he would get. If we went to trial, he could get 4 years, he could get, 7 years, what have you. But if he takes a plea deal, they told me he has to admit his guilt to the court. So when they said he's going to take a plea deal for 15 years, I wanted that as opposed to taking a chance that he could get 4 years and maintain his innocence. So there was a civil award after the criminal trial where I was awarded $5 million. I have not seen any money from that.
He could be coming out soon, in a couple of years. Have you come to the terms with the fact that he might be released?
I have not come to terms with that. I have to work on that. I feel like he's not going to come out and come after me, but, you never know. there's that little part of me that you're not going to convince that he doesn't want to hurt or harm me.
You know, it's hard to even ask the question, but what does closure look like for you? I mean, especially when you talk about this was such a random act of violence.
Yeah. You know, hindsight is 20/20. So looking back on how I came out of the hospital and everything was so chaotic and everybody was so traumatized, nobody knew what to do. Looking back now, had I been received into an environment that had created a safe environment for me, that is what I needed. Like I needed that foundation. I still need it, the foundation of safety. I have to figure out, can I live in a standalone house by myself?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I have to always live in an apartment with other people around, or a condo, or, you know, something with other people around, you know?
And I think what you're doing now is so remarkable because you're trying to help people understand what it means to be a victim of a random attack and the emotions, you know, the post-traumatic stress that goes along with all of that when it comes to healing.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I didn't think, maybe the first couple of days when I was out of the hospital, I didn't think that I had post-traumatic stress. Like I was just like, you know, this was a violent, horrible thing. And I'm going to calm down and things will be okay. I followed the steps of like what I was supposed to do, follow doctor's orders and things like that. It wasn't until things started happening to me that it really set in, like the nightmares and the not sleeping, and I couldn't be around people, and the isolating, and the emotions up and down. Like I could be sitting here just like this, and all of a sudden I wouldn't be crying, but tears would be pouring out of me. I had all this trauma inside me, and it had to be released somehow, right?
And Donna, what are you doing now to help, you know, get through this? I mean, it seems like it's very emotionally traumatic still to this day.
Yes. So I still am in therapy. I was on anti-anxiety medications. I was on medication, whatever the doctors thought that I should be on. I followed their protocol. I also started to do yoga and meditation and aromatherapy, anything calming, mind, body, soul type calming things.
To help you heal, though, I know that you created a support group specifically focused on victims of random attacks. Why was that important to you?
You know, nobody could put together that random act. Nobody could put together that I was alone in the night, in the dark, and barely escaped death. I knew I needed to talk to somebody else and hear their experience. I guess more for hope, right? I want to hear from somebody who got to the other side of this, who survived it and is doing well and is thriving and, you know, has all these ways of coping. So I just wanted, with the support group, I wanted to be able to be a safe place for somebody else to tell their story, you know, hold space for somebody else.
I heard you saying that you have the same job and that you had before the attack, that they've been very supportive and helpful.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for pointing that out, because having my job to go back to and having a purpose to get up and get out of bed and go to work every day, that was so important. It's the one thing that has not changed since the attack. It's the one constant.
And what do you want people to know about victims of random attacks? How do we talk to people who've gone through what you've gone through in a way that doesn't also, you know, become triggering?
I think you really have to meet people where they are. And in hearing somebody talk about whatever they're experiencing or whatever they're going through, you don't have to fix it. You don't have to offer advice. Just listen, you know, just let them release that without judgment.
I know before the attack, you competed in Tough Mudders, and as you said, you were in the best shape of your life back then. I think, though, what got you through this is you're the toughest mother. I'm amazed, again, how you got up those stairs, you called 911, you gave that description, and it really all came from a place of love, knowing that you needed to protect your daughter. How are you and Kirsten doing today?
Yeah, she's doing well. She's building a life of her own with her husband. There's still that, there's like a wedge there from the attack. I feel like there's always something in my everyday life that relates to the attack or something from the attack. And I feel like I don't want to put that on her, because that then causes her to think about it. And then, so there's a wedge there where I kind of try to protect her from my stuff, and she kind of tries to protect me from any of her stuff. And it's not the healthiest thing, but we're going to get through it.
I know you will. And I know it has to be so hard. I mean, you both have been through so much. So it's understandable how, in trying to protect one another, you end up sometimes putting, blocks in the way, in the path of allowing you to have, a really open and honest conversation. But you'll get there. You'll get there, because the work you're doing is amazing. And sharing your story, helping others is helping you. And I can see that. So Donna, you're incredible. And it's such a privilege to get to know you. And I know it wasn't easy having a conversation again about what happened to you, but we so appreciate you sharing it, because perhaps in helping us understand how best to talk to victims of random attacks, you're creating an opportunity as well to let us just understand people going through traumatic experiences as a whole.
Thank you so much.
We want to thank you for listening to It Could Have Been Me. I'm Natalie Morales. And you can always find your latest podcast in the 48 Hours podcast feed. It's free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.